Ontario sandwich. What's that?
That's Pablo Island. Wow, wow.
Yeah. And I'm sure there were other areas as well, but these were the main ones. In fact, the Refugee Home Society of Detroit bought 5,000 acres in Sandwich, Ontario, and gave farms to people who had, fled over there. So that was something after the war. So there are these commemorative statues today that, has anyone been down to see them on the river? They face each other, the Windsor one on the right and the one in Detroit on the left, so that was probably the biggest crossing area. But they did go up to Port Huron if they thought it wasn't safe to cross in Detroit and on to Sarnia, so that's it. I hope I didn't talk too long. Okay.
Thank you. I've heard
I turned it off, right?
Carol does many presentations like this at Macon Township, at the Macon Mills. So if you go online, we have a Facebook page, the Wayne Historical Society. We're friends with Macon Parks.
I just started my Facebook
So,
page last week.
keep a lookout for her programs. They're very good. She does one on the American Indians in this area. But we want to thank everybody for coming. And I do have a sign-up sheet. If there's people here who haven't signed up, please come and sign the sheet. And put your phone numbers down so we can keep in contact with you. One thing we didn't mention, we are planning on having a tea party June 11th. It's a fundraiser for this museum because we are working with the city, trying to help pay for some of the repairs here. So this party is honoring our first lady mayor. People come in our museum and say, well, there's no women. We don't have a lot of African Americans. We're not a very diversified city. But we want to celebrate. We elected a female mayor, and that's the first for the city. So we are proud of it. We've invited Mrs. Rowe, and she graciously accepted to be our guest. So if you are interested, the tickets are $30. Victoria's Tea is catering it, so we're going to have tea and sandwiches and desserts. The men are welcome. It's going to probably be outside, so dress, it's going to be a tea party, so it's a fancy dress party. Dress your fancy garden hat, so think about that. We do have some flyers. You could find also information on our Facebook page. And we want you to come back to our meetings. Our museum is open Wednesdays from 12 to 3 and Thursdays from 4 to 7. So come back in here. You can buy the tickets here or you can buy them online.
Or right now.
Or right now. Right now. And I kind of wanted to say, if you're a member, you get that 10% off. If you buy them at the museum, I'm going to say, if you come to the museum and buy them in person and say that Ann gave permission, we'll give you the 10% off if you're a member. So.
And let us not forget the gift shop is open.
And the gift shop is open. We have some items there. We do sell these lovely T-shirts with the picture of the museum on them. We have other things. We have some good books. We have the Centennial book. We have the History of Wayne book. We have some pens. We have some coins. Bumper stickers. It's great to live in Wayne. So come on in and shop. It's great. Any questions? Any questions for Carol? I mean, she's still here. Very good.
I have one here.
Okay.
I have a big enough mouth, I don't need the microphone. I used to live at Ann Arbor Trail in Newburgh.
Oh.
And when we first moved in that house, it belonged to the old American Legion. And we would go over there and they would tell us that around the corner on Ann Arbor Trail was a little store. And they said that store belonged to the Underground Railroad, and that's in that Brinks Farm area you're talking about. And they moved that store to Dreaming.
Oh, wow. Did they find any?
I don't know.
rooms in it or anything?
I knew that, from hearing them talk and telling about it, that the little church, that Lord's Church on the corner was also part of that whole area.
There were so many spots, like McFarland's Tavern, which was on Stark in Plymouth Road area, was said to be used. So I'm sure there's so many that never got recorded or, probably quite
My
a few
kids
more
used to
than
go
what
play
we
around
know.
that little store and they told them, don't touch them, don't touch them, that's going to the green, that's part of the Underground Railroad.
No, wow.
Yes, come back here.
Another question? How about,
I don't need the mic.
okay.
Stand up.
In your presentation, you mentioned a lot about free blacks. And how did a black man get the status of being a free black, so to speak?
Well,
How did he maintain that?
if they settled in the north, and were never in slavery, you know, because the free blacks, I mean, the Northwest Territory was free from 1787, so there were people living up here, working in Boston and other areas.
I was always under the assumption, and I went to Wayne High too, so. Figured. Anyway, I was always under the assumption that all the black folk that are in the United States came over on a boat from Africa at one time or another and landed down south and belonged to slave traders or this sort of thing.
Well,
And so if that was the case, I don't know if anybody's ever researched this, how did they get there
Yeah.
from the, say, the Georgia coast, which I've lived and understood that, all the way up through to be what they call a free black?
well, I know that the first slave ship that came over in 1526, I'm trying to remember, it was Spanish, and it brought some slaves and they all escaped.
Maybe
So,
that's
yeah, maybe, but
They
that's a
just
really
took
good
off.
question. I've never researched that end of it, like the descendants that were in the north. I'm thinking some of them may have come from Canada, you know, and lived in the US. It was odd because the colonies didn't outlaw slavery until 1803, but we had free soil here in Michigan, so people were actually going south to freedom at that time from the colonies too. But, yeah, that's a great question.
I lived
I'll
down
look into
south,
that.
and I've
Yeah.
seen all the slave markets. I lived in little towns in Kentucky that had the slave markets. And I've been in Georgia that have this, you know, the town square was the slave market.
Yeah,
It's kind of weird looking
I
at
know.
that stuff.
Yeah, I hate that. Yeah, good question. Maybe they were all escaped from earlier times, I don't know. Yeah, but a lot of those free people that had never been in slavery in their lifetime were captured and taken into slavery too, from slave catchers didn't care, they got paid either way, so, yeah.
Any questions? Any other questions back there?
Thank you so much. Thank you. I have some flyers up here about our other programs if anyone wants one. And we do have a Friends of Nankin group if anyone's interested in coming. We meet on the fourth Wednesday of the month. Right now, this month it's at 10 in the morning, but we usually meet in the evening.
And a lot of your programs are on Saturdays.
Yeah.
Which
yeah.
is nice. It's nice, yes. She has
Good,
a
I hope so.
fur traders, the fur traders program too is good.
Having me.
Well, thank you everybody for coming. There might be some cookies left, or some coffee, or something cold to drink, or at least something wet. Thank you very much, and our next month's meeting is May 13th, and the store is open. And we will be discussing the Wayne Garden Club next month, so come back for that one. It's a good one. Thank you.